going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Just United. We're back for another one, and this time we're going to be discussing who should potentially replace Erik Ten Hag as Manchester United manager, and if Erik Ten Hag deserves to remain Manchester United manager for the rest of the season. And joining me today is my boy Mando.
Thanks for having me, Gov, and hello, guys.
So let's get straight into it. Obviously, Manchester United being the biggest club in the world, we've been linked with all types of managers from all around the world. One of those managers being Thomas Tuchel. What are your thoughts on him potentially replacing Erik Ten Hag as manager?
I think it's a bit too late to get him in as manager. I think if we're going to get him, we need to give him a fresh start, get him the players that he wants in, get rid of the players that he doesn't want, and then I think that would be a good thing for him. But I think we're past that now. I feel like we're already in the rebuild stage. So whether he wants to take that project on, maybe that's why he turned us down. But now I think we need to go for another caliber to take us to the next level.
I'm not against Thomas Tuchel coming in as manager. Obviously, we've been linked with him in the summer after the FA Cup final and before the FA Cup final, saying, that he could potentially replace Erik Ten Hag as manager. I think he's got the pedigree of managing big clubs in Bayern Munich and Chelsea and managing in the Premier League. I think he knows exactly the way he wants to play. And, I think he could potentially even, take on this team the way it is and have an idea of how he would play with them. I'm not against Thomas Tuchel coming in as manager because he is proven in the Premier League. He has won a Champions League. And sometimes I think having that when you're coming into that Manchester United dressing room does help a lot because you instantly gain the respect of the players that are in there. Whereas, if you go for any other type of manager who maybe hasn't won the titles, could go the other way in how it has with Erik Ten Hag. Yes, he's won 2 trophies in 2 seasons, but now you're starting to see that, maybe the players don't have any confidence in him because he doesn't have that pedigree as a manager in the Premier League or winning the big trophies. And I think Thomas Tuchel could potentially take us to another level. But it's all he said, she said sort of thing. You don't know whether he will be able to do that based on the way the dressing room is, based on the way the structure is at the club. Yes, it's improving, but is it good enough to, him to come in straight away and potentially do that? I'm not so sure. Another manager we've been linked with, who I do not want at this club, do not come near my club. Please do not pick him as Manchester United manager if you do choose to sack Erik Ten Hag. That manager is Southgate. I do not like him at all. What are your thoughts on him as a manager?
Totally agree. Don't want him. I don't want him affiliated with that club. When I see Manchester United, I don't want to see that name near it. He was the England manager with, I think it's probably one of the best England squads ever. And bear in mind, I'm comparing that to like
The golden
the
generation.
golden generation.
Yeah.
And he couldn't succeed with them. So what makes him think he's going to be successful with us?
I think it's all that, him being English, Manchester United being an English football club, that sort of thing. I think that's what's being pushed by the media. And maybe that's why some of the board members maybe like him because they think, being an English club, you need an English manager. But we ain't had an English manager in how long? So I'm not totally convinced that that should be the main reason for going for Southgate. He plays negative football. And we were talking about it behind the scenes that he just seems like that kind of manager that does hold on to a 1-0 lead and sit
Yeah.
back and doesn't seem to want to do any more than that in a game. But yeah, I do not want Erik Ten Hag to be replaced by Gareth Southgate as manager. Please do not come near my club. That nicely takes us on to the next manager who we've been linked with, Inzaghi from Inter Milan. What do you think of him as the manager?
I do like Inzaghi, and anyone that knows football knows that the Italians tactically they're probably the best. So I think they could get the team playing the way we should. Because if you look at Man United at the moment, players just don't seem to know where they're meant to be, what role they're meant to be playing. So I think if you come on with a manager that has practical experience as a player and a manager, it could be really beneficial. And I
Do you think
think
sometimes it's on the players, or sometimes they just maybe do not pay attention to the manager? Because I think tactically Erik Ten Hag's sound, but sometimes it feels like to me that maybe the players just aren't listening to what he's saying. Because if they were listening, we would probably be tactically better in the game. But I agree with what you're saying about Inzaghi. He sets his teams up well. They're structured properly defensively, and in the attack, he knows the build-up play is nice, and he does. He's been doing well for Inter Milan. That game against Man City in the Champions League was a prime example of that. The way he played against them, shut them down completely, and Erling Haaland couldn't do anything.
yeah,
So I would like him as a maybe potential replacement for Erik Ten Hag. I do think he has the potential to help us reach another level, and take us on a little bit further than what we are defensively and structurally.
yeah. No, I totally agree. I think that's what we need in our club. Eric, you say he's tactically good against you in one cup final?
No, I agree. But obviously coming into the Manchester United job, we believe that he was. So I don't think he's changed as a person that much to not be that anymore. Sometimes, obviously, now he's got his players in, and yes, we might not be at the levels that we expected him to be this season. But the reason he's got those players in is because he probably simply can't play with the players that he had at his disposal.
Tell me one player that he wanted that he hasn't got.
No, no, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not backing him on that.
that's my point
I'm
I'm
not.
trying to make. So he's
Yeah,
got what he wants. It's not like he doesn't get the players that he wants, and that's even before Ineos took over. He was still
Frankie
getting
De Jong. Actually,
one player.
you said name me
Well,
one.
okay, one. Well, how much of a difference is he going to make to our team?
I don't know. I don't know. But obviously, it all depends on how he wants to play. Mazarari's come in. He's looked good. Delit when he first came in, he looked decent. Now he's kind of dropped off. Martinez looked good.
Was Mazzari a Eric choice or was that an Ineos choice?
It's both. Obviously, the manager probably has a final say, but we'll get on to Eric a little bit
Yeah,
later. We'll get on to Eric a little bit
yeah.
later. We're getting a little bit sidetracked now, guys. But yeah, we're gonna talk about another manager that's been linked with us, Xabi Alonso. What do you think of him?
I'll take him in a heartbeat, but I think his loyalty to Liverpool will prevent us from getting him.
I don't know. I think we could probably sneak him away if we offered him a high amount of money and a long term contract. Because at the end of the day, yes, he's got ties to Liverpool, but you got to remember he's a manager now. And, if you're getting a big club like Manchester United approach you for a job, and if you're successful in that job, one, you'll be there for a while, and then two, you could potentially get a job at another big club afterwards
I honestly think he'll be the successor at Real Madrid.
at Real Madrid.
I think that's the dream, the
But
job.
you would take him as
I
manager.
would take him, but I think he's going to be the replacement for Ancelotti. He's Spanish. He likes, obviously, played there, won how much there. Um,
Yeah,
I
I
hate to
agree.
say
I
it,
agree.
they're on par, if not slightly bigger than us. When you got the power to buy any player in the world, you're obviously going to have that factor. Obviously, City show that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about City, but yeah, I think Xabi Alonso would be a great addition to be Manchester United manager. But then obviously you can have a divide over between the fans of should we be getting an ex-Liverpool player manage Manchester United? Does he really know the club? Um,
I don't care about that. If he comes great, I'll take him. I just don't see it happening. I'll try to be realistic about it. I just
okay,
don't. I don't see it happening. I
okay.
don't know if the guys think any different.
What about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Would you take him back as manager?
I'd take Ollie back. I feel like we dismissed Ollie too soon. To be honest with you, he did really well with the squad that was given to him. Um, like Mourinho came second in the
Obviously,
league.
he's come out and he said that he would take the Manchester United job again if it was offered to him. Would you
Yeah,
be happy for him to come back?
yeah. Because again, we did really well under him. I think we did challenge top clubs under him as well, and again came
Yeah, we beat
second.
City a lot of times under
Yeah,
Oli.
I think City only beat us once with Ollie, if I
Yeah,
can remember correctly. Someone will prove me wrong in the comments, but um, I'll take Ollie back. I think he was good. I don't think we gave him the chance he needed, and I think we cut it. I think a lot of the players were to blame for that one as well. But I think if the board backed Ollie and gave him the power over those players and not give it to the players,
Yeah.
I think we would have done a lot better with him.
No, I agree. I agree. I would take him back just because I think he knows the club. He knows how we should play. He knows the players. And, stepping into that job, I'm pretty sure that he's had this amount of time now. If he did come back, he'd have different ways of working and things that he probably would do different. And, he could even have Ruud van Nistelrooy in his coaching setup.
Yeah,
Them two together could be amazing. Um, and I do think that he was disrespected. I do believe that, you know, signing Ronaldo, these types of players did put a lot of pressure on him. And in the end, the players gave up and they didn't play for him. He came out himself and said that, the players stopped playing for him in big games. They didn't want to play or they didn't want to be picked. And saying that afterwards, and he didn't say it during while he was manager, just shows the kind of person he is. That he took it on the chin on
yeah,
whatever came to him,
yeah,
and I would take him back as manager because we did play some of our best football underneath him.
yeah.
And like you said, we finished second. Yes, we were still a little bit away from actually touching that top spot, but it was something to build on. And we were hard to beat. I think we went on our longest unbeaten run underneath him.
Definitely, definitely
In
at home as
Yeah,
well. I'm sure
in the
we had a
Premier
really
League.
good home run.
Um, but yeah, I would take Ollie back. But another manager, obviously in the same sort of light as Ollie, Ruud van Nistelrooy, would you take him as either interim until the end of the season, or would you take him full time as manager of Manchester United?
I wouldn't take him full time at the moment. If we're going to offer it, give him the interim, and then see how it plays out. If it looks like he's doing a decent job, we're moving in the right direction, the quality gets better, then yeah, he has all rights to have a shout for that job. I couldn't say it right now off the bat. I haven't seen enough, and we need to see him in that actual manager
That's what
role.
was my next point was going to be. Like, obviously, even if he does come in as manager, I do believe that he's partially to blame for the way that we've been playing. Yes, he doesn't have the rule of the squad in terms of who plays, who starts, and who gets picked.
Yeah,
But him coming in as a coach, we've got two managers who came in to be coaches for Manchester United. Rennie Hay, he came in as to be a coach from being a manager. I do believe that there is some kind of like, it is on them a little bit to kind of take it on their chin, not just Erik. In terms of the team's performances, it is on them. They are coaches at the end of the day. We should be getting Our strikers should be finishing, our wingers should be finishing. There should be some sort of improvement because that's what Ruud van Nistelrooy is known as. He was a lethal striker in the Premier League. We should have improved in that department. But if anything, we've got worse. So I'm not sure if having him as Manchester United manager, even in the interim, is the right choice because, it's disrespectful to Erik Ten Hag. And two, if he does come in and do well, then it's what were you doing as a coach under Erik Ten Hag? Why weren't we doing well then? But yeah, I would obviously it could be another Ollie situation where there would be vibes in terms of we're getting back to winning ways. The players are happy. He knows Manchester United. It will bring back those kind of vibes, but I'm not so sure if he's the main man to take United forward. How about you?
I'll always do. Ultimately, it's the manager's responsible for that club, win or lose. Because if we were winning, Eric would have no issues taking all the praise for winning.
That's true.
So ultimately, everything lies with Eric. Even if he's the coach, he brings in the coaches, he chooses the coaches. Maybe not rude, but he does have somewhat say over the coaches. So it lies with him. He's the manager, and I'll say that for any other club, any other manager we get,
Okay,
results are
so
always
so
on the
fine.
manager.
So finally, just want to talk about Erik Ten Hag. Do you think he deserves to keep his job as manager?
No, I think he deserved to lose that job towards the end of last season. I think the FA Cup. I don't think it was even the FA Cup that saved him that job. I think it was beating City. got him that job, kept him in the job, sorry. But it wasn't the cup, it was who he beat for the cup.
Okay. So that was Mando's thoughts on if Erik Ten Hag should be kept as manager. I personally believe that after the two trophies that he's won in 2 seasons, he does deserve to be kept as manager towards the end for the rest of the season. Obviously, he does deserve a chance to turn it around. We don't know if he's going to be given that at the time of this video, but I do believe he should be kept as Manchester United manager, and I'm in support of him. I don't think the way he's been treated by the club, going around speaking to other managers, it being put out there that they are speaking to other managers, it totally takes away the strength that he has as a manager. Walking back into that dressing room, are the players going to respect him? Are they going to be confident that he's going to be there at the end of the season? Are they going to listen to him? These sort of things all come into account. I do think he should be kept as Manchester United manager. That was our review of potential replacements for Erik Ten Hag. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. See you later.